butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it is really lovely to see you today. Today we're talking about mobility aids. So that's things like walkers, walking sticks, crutches, wheelchairs of all the various kinds. Anything that helps us get around. In the chronic illness community, a lot of people use them. Not all wheelchair users have to be in a wheelchair full time. Not everybody who uses a walking stick needs it all the time. And I think there's this big gap between what society expects and what is needed. I've heard of people getting abused, getting shouted at, even violence because of parking in disabled parking bays. So it's no wonder that we feel a little bit hesitant to go outside with a walker when we're young, or with two walking sticks or on crutches. People will come over and say, "What have you done to your leg?" It's like, nothing, I'm just ill. It's hard to explain, and strangers, I don't know what it is, it's like normal society just kind of gets put to the side and we get asked so many personal questions. And so sometimes it's nice to be incognito and to pretend you're okay. Oh, I can walk that far. Oh, I'll be fine, to go around the shop. My own journey, I didn't get on well with mobility aids when I first started needing them. When I first needed mobility aids, I was in my early 20s and I woke up one morning and I couldn't feel my legs. I went to my GP, who immediately sent me to A&E, just like, go, this is not a GP thing, this is something serious. And I spent, I think it was about 10 days in hospital, having scans and being poked and prodded and having so many things done. And when I came out, the physiotherapist was like, right, to go home I want you to have a walker. And it wasn't like one of these cool ones that you can buy from Amazon or whatever. It was one of these NHS grey ones. It's got two wheels and then two bits that aren't wheels, and you kind of shuffle along. And I looked at it and was like, no. And then I was given two walking sticks. That was our compromise. Those walking sticks hadn't been put to the right height. So actually when I had been walking, I'd throw my balance off. So then I was given two crutches to make me stand up straight, which I got asked so many times a day, what have you done to your foot? Have you hurt your ankle? Did you fall over? Was it a sports injury? So I hated those. And then I eventually got put to just one walking stick, and that was all from doing my physio exercises as told, and just doing my best, working my best, and getting my strength back up, and getting to a point where I knew I couldn't feel my feet, but I can still walk, because I still can't feel my feet. It makes no difference. But now I can kind of move around, I'm used to it. When I'm in the house, which I am most of the time, I furniture walk, which physiotherapists hate. But I tend to just like hold on to furniture or the wall if I feel a bit dizzy or something. And so I kind of refuse to use a walking stick around the house. But when I'm out and about, I either use a walking stick or my wheelchair, depending on how tired I am, how ill I'm feeling, how much pain I'm in, and what we're doing. If we're going somewhere where we're just going to be walking a few steps, probably walking stick. If I'm going to need a lot of walking, say we're going around a load of shops or going to the town, I might go for the wheelchair. So it's all dependent on where my health is on that day, and it's very changeable. Now I've come to the understanding that having these things, having a wheelchair, it just makes life so much better. My granddad and my dad went halves and bought me the wheelchair, which I was so grateful for. But they actually went halves and bought it for me, which was so kind of them, because they knew that I was struggling to walk around places. And it wasn't at a point where the NHS was going to say, yes, you can have a wheelchair. So we bought one. It's very nice. I've had it a long time now. I think I've had the wheelchair about 15 years or something crazy, but I look after it, and so it's lasted. It's fine. And that wheelchair is perfect for me. It's perfect for just throwing in the car and going out. If I'm going somewhere like a convention where I'm going to be meeting lots of actors, if there's somewhere where there's lots of queuing, in my wheelchair is where I'll be, because I can't stand and I can't walk for as long as would be needed. And if I didn't have the wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to do those things. I wouldn't be able to go out shopping for myself. I wouldn't be able to go and visit London, my best friend down in London, or to go to conventions with all my friends and go and have fun if I didn't have my wheelchair. Because that wheelchair gives me a little bit of independence. I still rely on someone to push me, but it gets me out of the house, and it's such a big thing for your mental health to get out of the house. If I'm stuck in the house for too long, you start to get cabin fever and go a little bit wacky. So having that wheelchair gives me an option to go out on days when I necessarily wouldn't be able to go out. And my walking stick gives me the confidence to be able to walk. It gives me that kind of confidence that people aren't going to just bash into me and I'm going to end up on my bum in the supermarket, for example. People are going to see, oh, she walks slower, oh, she needs a little bit more time. Do you know what I mean? It's like a visual thing. I'm disabled. And I get, you don't look sick so often, but that's the thing with invisible illnesses, you can't see it. But I am so grateful for my mobility aids now. They get me out of the house whenever I can go. I'm out there. I love meeting people and going out and doing fun things. And if I didn't have my wheelchair and my walking stick, I would be lost. And I think everything happens for a reason. And I will say that I definitely regret not listening to that first physiotherapist. Because if I had have done, I wouldn't have needed the crutches. If I'd have had the walker, then I would have been safer. I did have a lot of falls when I first got sick. And I would say listen to your body. If you are having a lot of falls, go and see someone. They do have like falls clinics here in the UK. I don't know if they have them in other countries. But you can get referred by your GP and they will find out why you're having so many falls and find ways to stop them. And it might be that you need a mobility aid, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think in society sometimes it's kind of made out like if you need a mobility device, you must be old, you must be really, really disabled, not a little bit disabled, a lot disabled, and you better look sick, and you better, you know, you've got to tick these boxes that society has kind of made up for us. But the fact is, if you can't walk very far, and because you can't walk very far, you can't get out, maybe having a mobility scooter is something that would get you out of the house and give you a life, give you some independence. And who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that. Whether it's because you've got learning disabilities, whether you have walking issues, whether you've had an accident and so you've broken your arm, you know, whatever it is, we all want to be able to do as much for ourselves as humanly possible. And I think we need to change the way we speak to ourselves. We need to change our attitudes, because I think sometimes we kind of walk around with our heads down, trundling along, expecting people to be staring, and they are staring. I found a nice smile to those people generally either gets them to look away in embarrassment or changes their whole demeanour. I would once again say how we talk to ourselves is so important. If you need something, if you need a medication, if you need a walking aid, if you need something, use it. Don't be ashamed of that thing. That thing that's going to give you a little bit of independence, that's going to get you out of the house, that's going to stop you having falls and potentially really hurting yourself. Don't feel guilty about that. And if you use different aids on different days, like me, it can get a little bit scary, just because people judge. I've had people come up to me when I've been in my wheelchair, because I'm not a full-time wheelchair user. I haven't, you know, I have use of my legs. It's just fatigue and pain that means that there are times when I have to be in a wheelchair. But sitting down for long periods of time also causes pain. So there are times when I'll be at an event and I'll need to stand up. And I get comments. I get comments like, oh, you, why are you using that then? Or are you pretending to be sick? Are you really sick? Or just like glaring at you as if to say, oh, well, I trusted you. You let me down, you let us all down. And it just feels so overwhelming sometimes. But I think to stop using those things because of that fear, it then feeds into society that, well, they were right. And I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think if you need a walking stick, if you need a wheelchair, go and use them. And if somebody asks you a question that you feel uncomfortable with, just say, would you ask anybody else that? You know, or you're being a bit invasive, or you're being rude. Always try and stay calm. And if you feel in danger, just try and get out of there. I think trying to spread awareness is incredibly important. And if we hide away in our houses, if we stop going out because we're scared of using a walker, or we're scared of using a wheelchair because of what people will think, then they'll never get used to seeing us out there. They'll never get used to it, and society won't change. There was a time when anybody who was disabled would just be put in a mental health institution and just kind of left there. And nobody saw them, nobody understood them, nobody really cared. If you look into the history of mental health, it was barbaric and it was cruel, and people were locked away who just needed some care. We've come such a long way in just 100 years. We've got a long way to go. But if we hide away our mental health, if we hide away our wheelchairs and our walkers and our tubes and drips and things because they make people uncomfortable, we're never going to push society forwards. It's up to us to pave the way. You know, people paved the way in the past so that we can live at home now. You know, we can be independent. There are people who have Down syndrome now who live alone. There are people who have got learning disabilities who live away from their parents, who live in like group homes and things because they want to have a life. And if that's a potential thing, why are we stopping that? And the answer would be fear of what society says. If they saw a group of people with mental health issues walking down the street, are they going to stare? Well, yeah, they probably are, but they need to get used to seeing it. Does that make sense? So that's the best way I can kind of make what I'm trying to say make sense. I hope this video makes sense. I kept seeing so many people on my Instagram feed just being like, oh, I've finally worked up the courage to go out in my wheelchair, or I've finally given in and used my walker. And I'm just like, who are you giving in to? Society. You're letting these people that you don't know tell you what to do. But if you need this stuff, why are you saying no? I would love to get in a conversation about this subject. I would love it. So please leave me your opinions and your thoughts down below. while you're down there, don't forget there's a little subscribe button. Hit that, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. That would make me so happy. If you've got any thoughts or feelings, if you want to share your story with mobility aids, I would love to talk about it and love to educate myself and just learn, because yeah, that's what we're here for. That's why we're here on planet Earth, to learn and grow. So I definitely hope that you will join the conversation down there. Yeah, it's Monday. A lot of you have been at work today, or you've been out with other humans, and it can be a bit overwhelming. So I just want to wish you all a happy week ahead. I hope that you have a really lovely week. I hope that good things happen for you all week. And don't forget, make someone smile every single day. You could change your life. You could change your future. So smile if you can. And guys, I hope that you will come back and join me on Friday, where we'll be opening Pop in the Box for the month, because it's the end of March. I'm a year older and another year more fabulous. I hope you have a really great week, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.